I have a good picture of how things are around the fort now. I could hear everything over the karakuri. No doubt there's a connection with this disaster. It's imperative that we act swiftly. Although, I'm at a bit of a loss to know quite how. For the time being, ask around and see what details you can discover about Amaterasu. I need to gather my thoughts.
What if everything we see and touch turns to dust eventually? Like everyone else, I've seen the village I grew up in burned daimyo Ishido. Everyone fights it. But even after this horrible attack, I know someone else with eyes like yours.
It's too late. My father always used to say, people are scary creatures, but kemono are even worse. Humans attack out of hatred or greed. They destroy property because it's in the way. Kemono don't think like that. That bird was just acting on instinct. Flying around, beating its wings, snapping its jaws. But when nature bares its fangs at us, for our families and for our friends,
say Amaterasu comes back, would Minato get wiped? Don't bother trying to be a hero. My father said the same thing to me once, only to have a samurai cut him. If Minato's flattened, I don't have anywhere else. No point thinking.
We were naive. We should never have assumed he wouldn't attack us.
There you are. Seen the town? It's a wreck. Homes in tatters. People wounded everywhere. Some worse than that. Damn that kemono! This is Otsuki Castle all over again. Ripped apart. Not a soul left. dead. I was powerless even then. All I got was an eye. One measly eye of one measly wolf. Kso.
What? What a miserable sight. The hunter's town, in such disarray. Were there more like you among your ranks? Perhaps this tragedy could have been prevented. But for mere mortals, the aggressor was too strong. The Kemono grow ever more desperate. They tussle for territory. They clash for prey. Hunger now drives them to kill one another. And Minato is not the only casualty. Soon across all of Azuma, nature will be destroyed. Plants will wither. Lizards will howl. Mountains will crumble. Until finally rising waters will cover it all. But in you is the power to stop this. In you, there is the seed. For some, it is a duty. For others, destiny. And for you, you have the strength to hunt these gargantuan kemono. But do you have the will? What compels you to hunt now? The same noble answer still? Yet your words take on new meaning now. For the threats once vague is now very real. There is resolve in your words, unfaltering and true. Which leaves but one thing to say. You must value life, or all that awaits is death. Above all, survive.
Wait, it can't be. Boy, get over here.
Is everyone
That giant bird did this, surely.
We know Amaterasu was attempting to establish territory around the old castle. That resulted in the ousted Rasetsu's failed attempt at taking the Spirit Isle. Yes, we're seeing more and more kemono leaving their usual stomping grounds. And there can only be one logical cause, of course!
Of course. Maybe this is one time we should just jump to the conclusion, Sensei.
All across Azuma, and perhaps beyond, the celestial thread that sustains kemono is drying up. That explains why Amaterasu targeted the town. Celestial thread is now in abundant supply here.
Are you trying to say...
Exactly. It's trying to absorb Minato into its territory. Reviving the Karakuri on the Spirit Isle was... cavalier.
But that was done for Minato's survival. The Hime-sama, the elders, everyone agreed it was the right thing to do. Anyway, what's done is done. Now we have to eliminate this bird before it gets too damn comfortable in our town. We need your skills here. Find out where Amaterasu is now.
No. The burden's too great for a lone hunter. And besides, rather than blindly searching, waiting here would be far more practical. We can be sure it will return. It will be eager to conclude its territorial claim.
Then we have to bolster our defenses. And fast. Can we ready the karakuri we used against the Earthbreaker? This is akin to siege warfare, though the investment is a single foe. We need to prepare and deploy carefully. I'll take command.
Goodness, Ujishige! Such motivation and not a sake cup in sight!
Who do you think I am? I was a samurai general once. Now, I've got 100 things to do. I'll leave the karakuri with you.
Well, his military expertise will certainly be useful. But we can't ignore the overwhelming strength of our enemy. We need a secret weapon. In fact, I was just talking to Natsume about that. It's probably better if she explains herself. You should find her assessing the damage to the spirit wheel.
Managed to get the wheel working again. Now it's completely mangled. What we did on the Spirit Isle was... No. It's alright. I can fix this. I've just been talking to Suzura-sensei. Do you remember what I told you before about how there used to be another tower next to the Spirit Wheel? A second giant karakuri? From what I can tell by studying that stone tablet, it was a weapon used to repel kemono. I think we can reconstruct it. I'm making it sound easy. Obviously, we couldn't possibly build it from scratch at this stage. But if we fix the wheel and hooked another old karakuri into its mechanism, we should be able to make it work like the other tower did. Or at least, that's the theory. The first stage is to have Ren-san and her crew repair the main structure. We could really do with your help too. Would you be able to gather the materials we need for the karakuri part? It's a very old device that I can't put together with things I have lying around. It's going to take some rare materials with unusual properties. As it happens with the kemono fighting each other for territory at the moment, their bodies seem to be undergoing changes. We might be able to get the sort of materials we need from these clashing kemono, but they're fiercer than ever. So please be extra careful. I don't want you to get hurt. Arigato. Then let's not waste any time. Arigato. That's perfect. We'll be able to make great progress with this. With Uchishige-san organizing everyone to help, we only have a few finishing touches to make now before the weapon is ready. I've never seen him working so hard before.
Maybe we're seeing an echo of the man he used to be. Not that I'd know.
So many people who end up in Minato have had difficult pasts. Uchishige-san is no different. But I think he's finally letting go and rediscovering his samurai roots.
Minato is a unique place. A lot of different grains working together here in unexpected ways. Somehow, you all seem to rub along. And when a crisis hits the town, you all prop each other up. It's really quite inspiring. So, You can count on me and my crew to do our bit too.
We already think of you and your carpenters as part of the town. We're all in this together against Amaterasu. Would you mind going to see how Ujishiga-san is doing? We've got things under control here. Oh yes, one more thing. Obviously, we'll all do our best, but none of us know what this battle with Amaterasu will bring. Perhaps this would be a good time for you to have a think about which karakuri might come in useful. When the unforeseen happens, even simple karakuri might just tip the balance in our favor.